Hey everybody, this is Coop from Demonic Legion and Drugi.net. I played a 2,500 point game with my Dark Elves today against Lizardmen. The list I brought was a pretty nasty one. I've got a Dreadlord with a 2-up armor save and a 4-up ward save due to the Talisman of Preservation. He's got the other Trickster Shard, so those in base contact with him are rerolling successful ward saves. And he's got the Ogre Blade, so he's hitting at Strength 6 with Weapon Skill 7, and he's going to have rerolls on pretty much everything. And then I've got a Supreme Sorceress who is a level 4 of Fire. I decided to bring Lore of Fire because I never played with it before, and I always thought it'd be cool to try out. With this list, probably the right choice is Death. Death would be really great with the units I have in the setup. But she's got a Dispel Scroll, the Ring of Hotek, which gives her magic resistance 3, and if anyone casts a spell at her unit or anyone within 6 inches of her, they also suffer a miscast on double ones, and they don't get Irresistible Force for those double ones. And she's also got the Shrieking Blade, which gives her fear. That's mostly just so that her unit doesn't get punked by a Spirit Host or something, or anything that causes fear. In case I fail a fear test, I don't want it to be easy for them to put wounds on her. For heroes, I've just got a Master who's a BSB. He's got the Enchanted Shield, so he's got a 1-up armor save. He's got the Dawnstone, so it's rerollable. And then he's got a Potion of Strength, so he can be Strength 6 1 turn. I've got 2 units of 14 Witch Elves for core. They're both with Musicians and Standards, and one of them has a Banner of the Eternal Flame, in case I run into any trolls. I've got 10 Dark Shards with full command, shields, and crossbows. I've got 5, those are Dark Riders. 10 Dark Riders with full command, shields, and expos. I've got 5 more Dark Riders with Musicians and Shields. For special, I've got 4 Bolt Throwers, 30 Executioners with full command and the Banner of Swiftness. And for special, I've got 2 units of Warlocks, one with 5 and the other one with 10, and the Champion. So, these are the spells I rolled up for my Sorceress. She got 2 4s and 2 5s, so I had a lot of flexibility in choosing spells. I dropped down to the Fireball, which you pretty much have to have for fire. It's a really great spell. I took Fulminating Flame Cage, which is a hex spell. The unit you cast it on takes d6 strength 4 hits, and then also if they move for any reason, every model in the unit takes a strength 4 hit. So that's really good for stopping scary units from moving, or at least allowing you to soften them up while they move across the board. I've got Flaming Sword of Ruin, which gives the units I cast it on +1 bonus to wound, and also flaming and magical attacks. And then the last spell I had is Cascading Fire Cloak. It's an augment, and any unit within base contact of the unit I cast it on, I think at the end of the magic phase, takes 2d6 strength 4 hits. So I had misread the spell. I thought I could cast it on anyone, but you can only cast it on your wizard's unit. So that was kind of a useless spell for me to choose, just because my sorcerer should really never be getting in combat. So I wish I had read them more carefully and taken something else. So this is after deployment and after vanguards. I've got my unit of 5 Dark Riders in the end, my 4 Bolt Throwers lined up like this. I liked that I put them on the end to kind of deny a flank and force my opponent to move towards my big blender in the middle. My opponent's got 5 Chameleon Skinks in the woods over here. I chose not to Vanguard the Dark Riders in case I get first turn so that I can charge them. My opponent's got 4 Pterodons, 2 units of Skinks with Javelins below the Pterodons. In the center here I've got the Witch Elves. I don't know if they have the Banner of the Eternal Flame or not. It doesn't really matter because they didn't have anything that I could use it on. Got my Dark Riders here with my Supreme Sorceress in there. So they've got a 4-up armor save and then a 4-up against magic. So they're pretty defensive. I've got my 30 Executioners with my BSB and my Dreadlord. We rolled up a 2 for this Woods, so I think that means I cost Fear. My opponent has a Bastiladon in the back here. He's got a Salamander, a big unit of Saurus Warriors. I think he's got his level 2 of Beasts in there. The level 2 of Beasts has, I think, Amber Spear and Wild Form. He's got a Teto Echo bunker back here. Teto Echo knows all of Lore of Heavens. He's got his BSB over here, who's got a 1-up armor save, 4-up ward save, and I think a great weapon. And then he's also got a just general over here who has a 1-up armor save, rerollable, and a 4-up ward save, and also the other Trickster Shard. So he's just not fun to face. He's also got a great weapon, so strength 7, I think. He has a Stegodon in front of his general, and then to the right of the Stegodon is a unit of Temple Guard. Right against this fence are another unit of Skink Skirmishers, and he's got another Salamander tucked away. The Temple Guard are so far up because he got 2 Vanguards. Because of Teto Echo, you get D3 Vanguards. So he Vanguarded the Stegodon and these Temple Guard. And then on my far left, I got the other unit of Witches, big unit of Warlocks with a champion, and then 5 more Warlocks on the far edge. So Dark Elves rolled the first turn. I didn't do much on the left. I just kind of moved my things up so that I could make some counter charges if he happened to charge into me, or if he moves up, I can charge next turn. I decided not to move the Executioners. I know they'll destroy these Temple Guard, but I've got pretty good shooting, so I decided I'm just going to hang back and try and take out as much as possible. The real concern for these Executioners is the Salamanders. Salamanders will just wreck them with those templates. They'll be wounding on 3s, and I'll only have a 6-up armor save, and so they'll drop like flies. I think this was a 9 charge that I needed, so I was happy not going for it. I don't really move up the Witch Elves or anyone. I keep my Sorceress where she is. Lore of Fire has pretty far range, so it wasn't important that I moved up anymore. My Dark Riders do, in fact, charge the Chameleons. He flees, and I don't make it. He actually rolled really low. I could have gone into them. I think I needed to roll a 10, but I rolled like a 4 on Swift Stride, so I just moved forward 3. Now, during the Magic phase, I get what do I get? I think I get Fulminating Flame Cage irresistibly off on his Saurus block. I might have actually no, it was his Temple Guard block, and he just elected not to move them. I killed like 2 or 3 Temple Guards, and then for the miscast, I think a 5. So I lost a couple Dark Riders, and my Sorceress took a wound. During the shooting phase, I took off 3 whole Pterodons with my Bolt Throwers. I was really happy about that because I knew the Pterodons were going to try and kill the Bolt Throwers. And I think one Bolt Thrower killed a Chameleon Skink also. So turn 1 Lizardmen. He moves some Skinks forward. These Chameleon Skinks continue to flee. He kind of moves his lines up very cautiously. He doesn't move the Temple Guard, and he moves up the Saurus to be at the same, kind of the same area. Over here, he moves his general out to the center. I really don't want to get in combat with that guy, so I'm glad he didn't move up more. And I'm glad he didn't move up the Stegodon, so the Stegodon's kind of far back, which gives me a lot of time to deal with him. He moved his Salamander up so he can flame template the Warlocks, and then he moved the Skinks over so that'll shoot at the Warlocks. It's hard to see, but he is out of the line of sight of the Warlocks. So after the... I think this is Magic phase. This is after the shooting phase, actually. So he ends up killing 2 Warlocks with a Salamander's Flame template, and then he killed a couple Witches. Not exactly sure how he did it. I think it was either the solar... Yeah, it was the solar beam attack from his his what is this guy called? His Bastiladon. He rolled up D6 strength 4 hits, and he took off four witches. These are my slightly depleted unit of Dark Riders after losing some to the miscast. So turn 2 Dark Elves. I try to charge his Salamander, and he gets away. I tried to charge with these Warlocks. I move my unit of 10 Warlocks way up here so that they'll be able to swoop in if necessary, and also so they can cast Doom Bolts possibly on his Stegodon. I move the Witches back because this is kind of an easy charge for him, and I think now that they're moved back, he might need a 10 or so I'm happy with that. And he's welcome to go into the Executioners if he wants to. I'm more than happy to let him do that. He doesn't move his Temple Guard up too much. They still have I think they still have Fulminating Flame Cage, so he hadn't moved them up. So that must mean they're still the same 9 inches away from my Executioners, which is why I didn't charge. I think I moved them up a little bit into the woods, but not very much at all. The Witches I kept back also. And then the Dark Riders are just scooched over a little bit. During shooting, I kill this Pterodon over here with my Dark Riders. That was no problem. I take out a unit of Skinks over here, and I also killed the Salamander. I was really happy about that. And during the magic phase, I got Fulminating Flame Cage off on his Saurus Warriors. So turn 2 Lizardmen. He decides to move up his Saurus, even though they have Fulminating Flame Cage. He rolled really well for his armor saves, and I rolled pretty low for the wounds, so I think I only picked off maybe 3 or 4 of them. He left his level 2 caster back here, and he just kind of moves all of his units up. The Salamander in the back did rally, and he brought his general up over here. Not much is going on over here. He's got his Skinks like so, and then the Chameleon Skinks rallied and are facing my Dark Riders who had moved up. I should say also, I think he might have cast Chain Lightning at some point. That might have been a reason why some of these witches were dead, and he ended up taking a wound off of this Bolt Thrower. He does some sort of spell onto my witches. He might have done Uranos Thunderbolt or something like that. So he takes off the witches so that they're pretty depleted at this point. Turn 3 Dark Elves. So a lot of stuff's happening here. I take my Warlocks into the Stegodon, and then I'm not sure what happened to my other Warlocks. I think actually I rolled really poorly for their ward saves when he shot at them and they died. So I barely made this panic check, so I'm lucky I still have those Warlocks. They charged into the side of the Stegodon. I'm really happy about that because he's not going to be able to Thunderstomp me, and I'm going to have a lot of attacks. I've got, it looks like, 9 Warlocks in there with a champion, so 11 attacks from the front, and then 4 supporting. I'll have 15 rerollable attacks with poison. That'll do -1 to his armor save, so I think he'll have 4 ups or something like that. I'm really happy about that charge. I take the Executioners into the Temple Guard. I'm highly confident I'm going to win that one. Everyone's hitting at strength 6, so he's only going to have a 6-up armor save against all my attacks. Plus, I've got a bunch of killing blows, and he is such low initiative that I'm striking before him with my great weapons because of always strikes first and always strikes last, canceling out. That will hopefully lessen the number of attacks I have to face in return. I move the witches up here so that they can basically chaff up his general. If he charges into them, they're probably going to be steadfast for a long time. He'll need to kill 9 witches for them to no longer be steadfast. So I'm happy to tar pit him there. There's nothing I want to get in combat with his general except for I take the executioners in, so this buys me a lot of time. And then the other witch elves on the right, I move them up in front of the Saurus, so that that's really all he has to charge. And I should say he had taken a miscast sometime before and lost quite a few of these in his skink bunker. And then during the... Oh, I also charged into his chameleon skinks. Yeah, I don't know how these skinks got back here. He must have moved them back at another point. And then I bring my general way off to the right just so she's... Or not my general, my sorceress. Just so she's perfectly safe. During shooting, I killed a Bastillodon. I did the big bolt thrower shots into him a couple times until he died. And then I think I peeled off a couple more of these skinks in the cohort over here. So after combat, this was really good. The Warlocks went into the Stegodon. I think I put 4 wounds on him just because I got so many attacks, poison, rerollable. He does a couple wounds to the Warlocks, and then when my horses attack, I get 2 hits, and then I roll box cars for their attacks. So he took 2 wounds from the horses. He failed one of them, which was the last wound he had left, and he just exploded. So then I overran with the Warlocks into this combat with the Saurus. As you can see, I didn't lose very many executioners. Maybe I lost 6 or 7, but I just annihilated this unit. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Temple Guard left out of an original 24 or so. He did stick, though. He rolled Snake Eyes, so they're still around. But the good news is I'll break him during my turn, and then I'll be able to reform. Turn 3 Lizardmen. He takes his general into my witches. This is actually a shot after combat. I had reformed. He only did 2 wounds to my witches, and I passed my leadership no problem. Over here after combat, I just destroyed the Temple Guard and reformed like this. He had gotten off 2 spells in the magic phase. I think he got Curse of the Midnight Wind and also Ice Shard Blizzard. So I'm -1 to hit, and I am also rerolling 6s for to hit, to wound, and armor saves. That was kind of annoying, but I didn't want to blow my scroll because I wasn't sure if I might need it later. He moved his skinks up to shoot at my warlocks, and they're down to 2. But the good news is that 2 should be enough to kill this unit. So turn 4 Dark Elves. This is after combat as well. Down here, he ends up doing 3 wounds to my witches, but they passed their leadership check. The Warlocks had gone into his Teto Echo bunker. They, I think, might have killed all the skinks, except for 1 or 2. He fled, and I caught them easily. My executioners ran into the Saurus. I wasn't able to kill all of them because of Ice Shard Blizzard and whatnot, so he ends up fleeing. He rolls a 4 to flee, and I rolled a 3 to pursue, so I'm 1 inch behind him. But all he can really do is just turn back around his turn, so that doesn't really matter. And then I think I cleared up his solo wizard with shooting, his level 2 of beasts. I took off some of these skinks. I might have got fulminating flame cage on them. And then this salamander has no handlers and is down 1 wound. So turn 4 Lizardmen. This is pretty much the end of the game. He rallies his Saurus. They'll get charged next turn and they'll get killed, no problem. The salamander did a flame template on them and took off quite a few. The skinks didn't move because they had fulminating flame cage and they probably would have been in real trouble. I should mention I had 3 Dark Riders who killed the chameleon skinks they were in combat with and overran, and then they came back on the table edge or something. I should also say his BSB had charged into my executioners, and he ended up fleeing when I won combat, so he just died. I think he needed like a 4 on 3 dice, removing the highest, and he rolled a 5. And then over here, this is the reason why we ended the game. So his general was in these witch elves, and he could not do a single wound to the witch elves. And they don't have an armor save, so he couldn't do any wounds. I think he rolled like 2 hits, and then he rolled snake eyes for the wounds, and his cold one couldn't wound. So I ended up winning by 1 because I have a banner. And for his cold-blooded leadership, he rolls 3 6s. So he flees, and on his swift stride, he ran 7, and I think I rolled an 8, so I ran him down. So we decided to call the game here. So at the end of the game, you got these 5 skinks, the salamander, these saurus, and skinks over here. During my turn, I would have killed these saurus, no problem. I probably would have been able to take out the skinks and the salamander with shooting and fireball, and then I would have been able to take out these guys with, Doom Bolt or something. So I would have been able to table them had we continued to play. As for me, I think all 4 bolt throwers of mine were alive. The only units I lost were a 5-man of warlocks, a unit of witches, and I think that might have been it, because I still have my 5 Dark Riders back here. My 10 Dark Riders with the Sorceress are safe off the side of this picture. I've got my 14 witches here, all my executioners and all my characters. The 10 warlocks are here, and then the full 4 bolt throwers are alive. So I really only lost 2 units. So this was obviously a really good game for the Dark Elves. I like the list I put together a lot. It's a good list for 2,500 points. It's pretty nasty and competitive, but really not quite as cheesy as you could make it, since I have a lot of on-foot characters. It actually would pass an ETC. I know ETC is 2,400 points, and we played 25, but I'm within my 5 restrictions. I get 3 for having 15 warlocks. I'd get a pool choice would go for the sorceress on the dark steed, and then another pool choice for having 1 or more bolt throwers. So I'd have 5 choices out of a maximum of 5 that you can take. So it's a nasty list, but it's not as filthy as you could possibly get. I really liked how it played. I like the executioner block. The bolt throwers are really nice because they can take out his shooting threats, so that my executioners don't get destroyed. With a 5 up armor save, they are really, and toughness 3, they're really susceptible to shooting, especially those flame templates. So I was really happy to get rid of his salamanders and most of his skinks pretty quickly. I liked my Dreadlord build and my BSB build a lot. They did really well in combat, and they didn't take very many wounds. I was also happy with Sorceress build, and Lore of Fire's okay. I didn't pick the right spell, so I made some mistakes there. And I don't know if it's the strongest choice. I said previously, Death's probably the best choice for this list, because the Sorceress is so mobile, you can snipe characters no problem. And also you can get the perfect angles for Purple Sun, but I elected not to bring that just because I really don't think my opponent would have enjoyed getting Purple Sun with all his Initiative 1 troops, and he really wouldn't have enjoyed losing characters and Stegodons and Distillodons to Spirit Leech and Fate. So yeah, so if you ever play a list similar to this, that's probably the way to go. Shadow might be all right. It'd probably do okay. I tried the list again. We played another game, and I did it with Beasts because I haven't really used Beasts ever, and that did not go well in the magic phases. Beasts is not really a great lore for this list. So I think probably the optimal lore is Death. Fire was okay. Dark might have been alright. Dark magic, but I'm not the hugest fan of dark magic. Life would have actually been a great choice because I would have given the Executioners toughness 5 with, and I could give them regrowth. So regrowth, so I can bring some back, and I can also give them regeneration. So life would have been a really smart choice on this list. I just find it kind of boring to play with life, so I didn't really want to. I like being able to shoot stuff a little bit more. So that's the game. Thanks for watching. See you later.